Majority of people who call me about the rent to own opportunity in our area, when I start to question them about their uh, current situation with their credit, with their debts, etc., I see that they probably will not qualify for a rent to own. So that's the majority of people. Contrary to popular belief, rent to own is not like a credit building program. It could be, but typically you do not even enter into a rent to own program unless your credit score is close to 580 to 600. Uh, to dispel kind of the popular myth about rent to own, I'll say this: rent to own is not for people with bad credit. Rent to own is a program for people with good credit and good income who have a temporary impediment. So, for example, if your income is, $10,000 and your credit score is 610, you're in a good spot to be in a rent to own program because, but let's just say you've been at your job or you just started a company less than 2 years ago. So there's not enough tax returns to qualify you for a loan yet. With those two ingredients already being there, the income and the score, and the only missing ingredient is a procedural requirement for 2 years tax return. Assuming that nothing bad changes happens in your life, you should be on a very easy track to be a homeowner within 1 to 2 years. In that case, a rent-to-own program makes sense. So people who qualify for rent-to-own programs typically have the following qualifications. Their credit score is 580 or above. Their income is very strong, which means that they can afford a monthly payment of a mortgage on a house that they're looking to rent to own. Mortgage means paying principal, paying interest, paying taxes, paying insurance, paying HOA taxes, HOA fees. Typically, those are higher, so rents in the Dallas-Fort Worth area tend to be cheaper than mortgages, newly issued mortgages. So the good candidates for a rent-to-own program are strong income, strong income. I would say if your income is less than 5.5 to 6,000, chances are you will not be able to do a rent-to-own program. If your credit score is below 580, chances are you do not need to be in a rent-to-own program yet, unless the issue that you're planning to clean up are very temporary in nature and will fall off of your records in the next 2 years. That's pretty much it. Your debt to income can be then adjusted. So the rent to own program is 580 plus realistic, 5.5 to $6,000 income plus to qualify for a $300,000 home. If you want a bigger home, let's just say 4 bedrooms, 5 bedrooms in better area of Dallas, then your income need to be matching that. So if you take your mortgage payments, kind of multiplied by 2.5 to 3, and that should be your income for the family. If you do not have that income, you probably won't qualify for that home, neither through rent to own nor through a traditional loan. So that's pretty much it. I don't want to overtalk it, but what to do if your income is below that, or if your credit score is below that. Should you not even worry about rent to own then? I would say this: if your income is below that, then do not worry about rent to own program. You cannot solve income issues by being in an expensive home for which you're draining a lot of cash to be in. If your issue if the issue preventing you to purchase a home is your income, then do not worry about rent to own. Worry about making more income, figuring out how to make more income. Nothing in the world will solve your issue of you not qualifying for a bigger home due to income, other than you getting a new job, a second job, or another source of income. If your issue is, if the income is not the issue, but the credit is the issue, then connect with me, give me your credit situation, and I will see what I can do. Because if your income is there and the only thing that's missing is your credit, then we could potentially qualify you for a non-conventional loan of some kind, where even 500 credit scores. By the way, you can get into a 500, you can get into an FHA loan with a 500 credit score. Just your down payment needs to be pretty high. That's what I said. If your issue is the credit scores and not an income, then contact me, because I do have lenders who will work with low credit scores as long as you have a fairly good amount of money saved up. Another potential resolution, if your income is strong but your credit is not strong, is to consider using another creative idea, such as, let's just say, purchasing the home like if it is a rental, using an LLC in a different type of a loan rather than a personal loan. That's another potential, because then you can use somebody else's credit to join somebody else's credit who is also a part of the LLC to qualify for that. That's another alternative to rent to own that I forgot to mention in the previous video. But overall, it is better to have a credit problem than an income problem, because credit problems, there are a ton of ways to solve for that problem. Income problem, there is only one way to solve for an income problem, and that is figuring out how to make more income. Other than that, what are other requirements? In most cases, you probably need to have no criminal background, definitely no sex offenses. If you do have a criminal background, it will either vary on a owner by owner basis, or if you're with a program like Divvy Homes, they have their own kind of standards by whether it's a felony versus a misdemeanor, etc., etc. But criminal background is definitely a problem. Pets are not a problem. You can qualify with pets, several pets at the same time, not a problem at all. What else could be a problem? High debt to income. High debt to income could be a problem because it could qualify you for a lower monthly payment. Because if you're making $10,000 a month, but you're paying $6,000 in credit cards, obviously that leaves you with only $4,000 to $5,000 in disposable income, and that definitely affects your ability to pay your monthly payment. So even though debt to income is not an impediment per se, preventing you from renting to own, it is a problem that lowers the available funds that will be calculated as funds allowable for a monthly payment on your residence. That's about it. So debt to income I mentioned, criminal background I mentioned, all links of employment. In many cases, as long as you have about 5 to 6 bank statements showing consistent income, you should be okay with good income and with good credit scores. If your credit scores are shaky, but your income is low, you might need to show a little bit more of bank statements to show consistency of your income. But if your income is low, your debts are high, and you've been at your job for less than, just say, half a year, you might run into those issues as well, where people are not sure if something happens with your current job, how you will be able to manage those high monthly payments on your other debts in order to continue with the rent-to-own program. That's about it. I can't think of anything else. That's a qualification for rent-to-own program. But yeah, If you have any questions, let me know. My name is Elena Garrett, and I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Central in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. My contact information is below. And the next video that I'm going to record is how do I become an owner? So the process of transitioning from renting to own to the actual ownership. Stick around for the next video.